मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड, आप सबका स्वागत है। हाँ, चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का सेशन। हाय फ्रेंड, गुड मॉर्निंग, आप सबका स्वागत है। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का सेशन। आज 21 जनवरी है और अगेन एक और अच्छा आर्टिकल जो हमें काफ़ी चीज़ सिखाएंगी। ये आर्टिकल जीएस पेपर 2 और जीएस पेपर 4 दोनों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है। और जैसा कि आपने थंबनेल में देखा कि डिस्क्रिप्शन में देखा कि ये आर्टिकल लोकल गवर्नेंस से रिलेटेड है और it will be definitely helpful to learn about our circumstances. So स्टार्ट करने के पहले मैं कुछ आज का वर्ड ऑफ द डे बोलना चाहूँगा जो कि हमारा इस सेशन में भी हेल्पफुल होगा। वर्ड ऑफ द डे आज का है ऑटोनॉमी, AUTONOMY। ऑटोनॉमी का मीनिंग होता है इंडिपेंडेंस, आज़ादी, स्वायत्तता। ओके, सो लेट अस फॉरवर्ड टू द डिस्कशन। मैं चाहूँगा कि आप इस सेशन को ध्यानपूर्वक समझें, देखें और कोशिश करूँगा कि पूरा आर्टिकल को 3 डिवीज़न में मैं फ्रैगमेंट करूँ, तोड़ूँ। पहला उसका जो आर्टिकल का जो इंट्रोडक्शन है, सेकंड उसका जो नेगेटिव पार्ट है आर्टिकल का, ठीक है? और थर्ड उसका पॉजिटिव पार्ट, या फिर अगर पॉजिटिव पार्ट नहीं है तो क्या हम कर सकते हैं कि इस जो प्रॉब्लम है या जो सिचुएशंस है उसको हम और कैसे बेहतर कर सकते हैं। तो इस तरीके से हम इस आर्टिकल को फॉरवर्ड करेंगे। तो ये हमारा टोटल प्रेजेंटेशन होगा इस आर्टिकल का। तो समय व्यर्थ ना करते हुए हम स्टार्ट करते हैं इस सेशन को। सो again, this article wrote by two eminent personality. First is Pradeep Chibbar and Parnav Gupta. Both are the professor of political science in University of California, and both are renowned person. So they raise questions that there is hurdle any autonomy at the panchayat level. What it mean? The question itself arises by the author point out the what is the problem lies in Indian local governance. Local governance means panchayati level governance. So it is important that author question that is any hurdle to get autonomy to the panchayat. Yes. So these are the context of the article. So before starting this article, let me discuss what is local or local self governance. There are many things, and at the commencement of Nagaur district in Rajasthan, when first time self government, local self government starting in the 1950s, and after the importance of this will come in force at 1992 when two constitutional amendment act passed in the parliament. Those are 73rd and 74th, and both have a separate schedule, schedule 11 and schedule 12. 73rd is basically for the panchayati level government, and 74th is the municipality and local town governance. Both are come under the local governance under the state list under schedule 7. So these are the introduction of the what is local self governance. Something more important than that introduction, and that is this will come into effect for the boosting, improving, flourishing the grassroots level democracy, for whom how any individual, any person to touch to their representative for their personal, for their street work, for their village work, for a small type of community work. So they don't approach directly to the MP or MLS, so that they have their individual representative through which they can reach very comfortably. So these are the things, and also one thing added by the Mahatma Gandhi, and also these are the feature of DPSP under Gandhian principle of the DPSP, Directive Principle of a State Policy, in which Gandhiji viewpoint is that we have to reach out to the grassroots level of democracy in the village, in the pan India, even in the remote area, village area, in which we are trying to uphold the every citizen of the country, and they have also awareness of the democracy, how to roll, how can be role in the democracy, and vote for those representative, and those are working on behalf of them, and we can approach to those our local representative even for our little bit problems. So these are the main agenda of the local self governance. And also Gandhiji point is that local governance is important to uh, become a flourished democracy. So have a robust system like local democracy is important. The same thing I reiterated more time. So let us discuss further. So what is concern? According to article, author says there is recent incident in Telangana happened when a mukhia, or we can say sarpanch, suicide. Why suicide? Because on behalf of that they done a public work. Suppose that they made a street light, they made a small road, and but the sarpanch used their own money for that project, and sarpanch behave that ultimately we can get fund from the state or the authority. So after the work being completed, they approach to the local authority, local government, or they can go to the multiple time bureaucrats, they can move to the multiple time to the government offices. But you know what is the problem in India? Most important problem in India is that our state government, and a state government through the bureaucracy, through their rural development department of the state, want to supervise the local government, through which they say we want to restrict those local governments representative to stop them until a level, or be are supervised or restrict just because of they don't have a enough power to allocate fund. Otherwise they can misuse their power of allocating funds and other provisionings, so that the working conditions under the local governments may be harnessing the situations. But this is the same thing in which we can say this is the case of pot kettle calling black. It means this is the case of hypocrisy. As we know, what is the government of every state done in India, so that we are here in even our the 75th year of independence. So this is something different thing. But what is the negative aspects of this thing? Objective of the local self governance under the panchayati raj system is that we have to ensure a state level election commission under article 243. We have a women representations in the local government. We have a separate SC/ST reservation for that, and for OBC reservation we have a state board, a state level mm, committee will be set up for that. We have something like the uh, local self governance booster, in which all are involved in that through the democratic means. These are the objective which are in vibrant in our in is imbibing while enactment of that constitutional amendment. But problem of the fallen location is one of the biggest problem local self governance facing now. Why? Local self-governments in panchayati system raise their fund through three means. Understand this very carefully. First means is through their taxations on the different things, especially this is working on a municipality in which they collect tax like house rent, sanitation rent, like different commodity rents. Okay, this is the first point. Second, they local self governance get fund from the state government, and third are central government. These are the well defined by the the same local authority, local self governments. But what about these two, state and central government? Even a state want to take autonomy of this third tier, and even these which are the independent for that uh, local self governance, they can get anytime fund from that, but a state intervention also in that. So autonomy of this will be harnessing by the state. These are the example. And a state autonomy restricted by the central government. Understand? Means a state financial conditions totally depend now on the central government after GST was implemented and several important enactment in parliament. So ultimately there is a resources crunch. Ultimately means funding problem, money problem. And as we see in the case of when the ruling party in central government and a state government have a different party, the fund allocations in the different department which are supported by the central government have now facing hurdle current time. So these are the respective problem, and we know the political interference in the local self governments also is a problem which are imbibing today. And these are the note way in which Gandhiji defined the definitions of the local self-government. For why, for what, for those, Constitution Amendment was enacted in 1992. These are the problem, and also we, as per article, we want to something put in these addresses. The lack of workforce is another problem in which sarpanch have a no their cadre, so they ultimately dependent on the local bureaucracy work on the behalf of a state government, and there is a hierarchy in which all are the fixed and representatives of the panchayat goes main multiple time to the government offices for their work. But as you know, in India the power of local governments are restricted, circumscribed by the state government, and this will be diluting the spirit of constitutional amendment which want to seeking to empower local elected representatives. So this is the article, and hope आप अच्छे से समझोगे इस आर्टिकल को. इसमें कुछ 4-5 क्रक्स था जो इम्पोर्टेंट हो सकता है. थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग मी, एंड होप आपका दिन अच्छा होगा और आप अच्छे से पढ़ाई कर रहे होंगे. सो चलिए मिलते हैं कल एक बार फिर एक अच्छे डिस्कशंस के साथ. तो आज के लिए इतना ही. धन्यवाद ज्वाइनिंग करने के लिए. ओके, गुड बाय, जय हिंद, लव यू.